We've already priced people out of their apartments. We've priced them out of ever owning a home, priced them out of everything else. So pretty much they're going to start living out of their cars. So let's go ahead and jump ahead to the future and make cars unattainable as well.
You heard it here first, boys. Dystopia's coming tomorrow. This is exactly how it starts. A very slow degradation. Next thing you know, we're going to be taking out leases for bicycles.
You probably need to sell your car if you can't pay it off in the next 2 years because your car payment is keeping you broke.
Every time I work on budgets and I see any car payment, even above like 600, I want to choke on my own vomit.
The reason you're not qualified is your car payment is too high.
There are people who choose to pay for their car instead of their home, thinking I will catch that up later. And that doesn't always happen.
Think about that for a second. There are people in this country going into massive debt just to keep up with the Joneses. I don't even know who to blame. Sure, we can blame the person for making bad choices and choosing to pay an arm and a leg to have a nice car. But if we're being honest here, the pressure is very real. All you see on social media is what color is your Bugatti. You see OnlyFans girls decked out in luxury and money and ripped dudes with tons of cash. Social media is toxic as hell, and people don't even know what they're doing. People are spending $1,000 to $2,000 or more for a car lease, not even including insurance. That's crazy to me. The cost of living has skyrocketed. People can't even pay off their cars, let alone think about buying a home. Let me know, guys. Do you plan on getting a home, or do you currently own one yourself? Or are you just going to rent for the rest of your life? Let me know in the comment section.
Y'all, I cannot be getting behind these $700 car payments. Every time I work on budgets and I see any car payment, even above like 600, I want to choke on my own vomit. And before you say, just the average car is like $35,000, I don't care. You don't need a $35,000 car. You want a $35,000 car. The most expensive car I ever bought was a 2015 Mazda 3. I bought it in 2016 for $14,000, walking out the door, and my car payment was $315.15. And I thought that was a lot, and it really isn't. Nowadays, with my income and everything, I would say, I don't think I'd be comfortable paying more than $450. $500 is pushing it.
Having a car is a necessity, but you gotta live within your means. Buy a beater car. I know it won't feel great for our ego, but it's better for our ego to take a hit than our credit score. Or worse, accruing debt that you're just never gonna pay off. It's a scam, guys. Never fall for it.
And some of you are willing to have $700 plus car payments. Not only that, I've seen people with car payments more than some people's mortgages. I've seen people come with car payments $1,400. For $1,400, I better be able to live in that thing. I also feel like cars are just the biggest tricks ever, because it's I've just never looked at someone's vehicle, even if it's the oldest thing in the world, and been ew, look what I don't care. I feel like most people do not care. I will get in the oldest, beat up car ever of someone else's and not give two shits, as long as it's not piled with trash and fast food. I do care about that stuff, but I would care about that if it was a brand new car. But it's just so much better to not have the new car and make those kind of car payments. And I'm in a great position right now. I do not have a car payment. I honestly don't even have a car of my own. I have a company car. And, so I have a company car, and they pay for my car insurance and gas and all that great stuff. So currently right now, I do not have a car payment. Now, what I've been meaning to do for the last 8 months, and this is totally my bad, I need to be doing it, is I want to put I think $350, $400 a month into a high yield savings as my car payment. So that way, when I do eventually get a car of my own, then I have a good down payment that I've been saving up for. But I can't get behind those $700 plus car payments. That's outrageous. And you know it is, okay? You can try to justify it all day, all you want. You can try to justify that, but ain't no freaking way.
Let's not kid ourselves. The cost of daily living is unreal. Public education does nothing to help us understand what's going on or how to make proper purchases. Buying a Hellcat that you'll never own, or at best you're going to pay off in the next 5 to 10 years with interest, is a cruel joke. The system does everything in its power to enslave us with interest on things we're never going to truly own. It goes back to that saying, you will own nothing and be happy. The only way to avoid that bleak future is by pursuing financial independence and freedom.
What trends have you noticed amongst people that are struggling financially? Like what are they doing with their money? Why is it not going in their favor?
Everyone's good with getting a 5, 6, 7-year car loan at 25% and thinks that doesn't mean anything. So that's crazy. I mean, what? The average new car payment, what was it? I think it's recently come out to like $800 a month.
Yeah.
It's insane. If 50% of the people in the United States, 50% who have a job make $30,000 or less on a yearly basis, $800 a month as the new average car payment, that's insanity.
So I had a potential home buyer that had a $924 car payment and wanted to buy a $460,000 house. And you can imagine how this went down. The payment of the car and the payment of the house was just too much for their debt ratio. Their income didn't support both payments. When I explained this to them, they started rationalizing the reason they couldn't buy was because the home price was too high and interest rates were too high. And I had to stop them at some point and explain to them that that's not the reason you're not qualifying. The reason you're not qualifying is your car payment is too high. I took my calculator and I said, let me show you an example. We calculated what $150,000 would translate to in a payment, and it was $923. And keep in mind, their car payment was higher. So in this example, if you are buying a $460,000 house and you introduce a car payment that's $923, we have to reduce that approval by $150,000. So your approval goes down to $310. And that's why these people couldn't purchase a house. It had nothing to do with the market, and it had nothing to do with rates.
And that's how they get these people. You're too busy paying off your car, and the banks won't let you buy a house because you can't afford it. They'd rather have you renting for the rest of your life than owning anything. This isn't the 1970s anymore. Inflation has hit, taxes are high, and nobody's making any money. It's legal for them to let you sign on that dotted line knowing full well you're never paying off that car. They know they're trapping people and destroying their lives.
That's it. I am no longer going to pay. Like, I like the smell of a money more than I like the smell of a new car. So I was just watching this Consumer Reports that's saying that the car market is starting to get donkey. As if we didn't hemorrhage enough with like the housing and the rent and the groceries and just pretty much everything. Now cars are getting ready to take a hit. And they're saying car payments can be up to as much as $1,000 a month. And I'm not talking like for the Escalade and the Lamborghinis. I'm talking the basic car. No, sir. You will never see me paying $1,000 a month. As a matter of fact, I am pissed that I was even paying $500 a month for this car. And I will tell you right now, this will be the first car that I have owned outright. Next month will be my last payment on this car. Like, I will own this car first time in 51 years of living, because I used to be in that mentality in my 20s that, you know what, I'll always have a car payment. So I wanted to turn in a car every 2 to 3 years because I liked the new car smell. No, fuck the new car smell. I'd rather have my money smell because everything's too freaking expensive.
She's got the right idea. If you can outright buy a car and avoid paying any interest, you're set. Even if it's a beater car, like a 2000 Honda Civic, escaping the system that's trying to trap you and squeeze every last dollar is an absolute victory in my book.
No way would I pay $1,000. And I fully believe like there's some cahoots or something going on with this. Because why is it? Because my car's starting to act a little funky here like the past few weeks, knowing that I only have one more month until it's paid off. And I feel like cars aren't even made the way they used to be anymore. Why is it that classics from like 50 years ago are still running no problem, but cars that are brand new with all the bells and whistles, just too much shit to break? And it's like they do it on purpose. Like the manufacturer's warranty goes out at a certain time because they know damn well it's going to break at that point. Why is it that most cars only last really long, 5 to 6 years? Because that's about how long you're financing it. So I guess they're looking at it like, wow, we've already priced people out of their apartments. We've priced them out of ever owning a home, priced them out of everything else. So pretty much they're going to start living out of their cars. So let's go ahead and jump ahead to the future and make cars unattainable as well. So not only are we going to have to live in a commune with everybody because we can't afford to live independent anymore, we're going to have to start carpooling. I refuse If this thing breaks down, I promise you I'm going to make little holes in here and I'm going to Flintstone that shit. I am going to Flintstone this car as long as it can get me safely from point A to point B. What are we doing? Make it stop. I'm done with the hemorrhaging.
This is why I appreciate having traveled to Europe. When I went there, everything's pretty close by. They have pretty great public transportation systems. Subways and buses can take you pretty much wherever you need to go. It's not like the American and West in general approach where you have to drive everywhere because everything's so far apart. I love the independence of having a vehicle, but there's something to be said about the European public transportation systems. Biking to work is not only healthy, but also practical if you live close enough, so that's always an option. But honestly, I'd prefer having cars not be incredibly expensive and wages keeping up with inflation and taxes, not destroying us at every step of the way. But hey, that's just me.
This is a great point and one of the biggest indicators to why foreclosures are increasing monthly. A lot of people went out and bought cars when prices were super ridiculous. And one of the things I've noticed and I share with my wife all the time is every time I'm having to take pictures of a home, there's fairly new pickups or SUVs in the driveway. And you know what happens? Because people have to get to work, they stop paying on their mortgage to keep their cars current because their cars will get repoed in 60 to 90 days, where a home you could be in for at least a year, if not two, before they actually take it away. So people make choices, they make decisions. And that's why when people say, oh, people are not going to lose homes because of the 2 or 3% interest rate, inflation has hit everyone. And they're choosing what to pay for. And the result is foreclosures are going up. People don't understand that with inflation, people don't have the same kind of money they used to. They're paying more for everything. Therefore, they're having to make decisions. And I'm saying that there are people, it's not everybody, there are people who choose to pay for their car instead of their home, thinking I will catch that up later. And that doesn't always happen.
Yeah, that's the sad reality. People choosing between the car they need to get to work and ever owning a home. I know I felt inflation and how bad it's getting out here, and I know people in my life who are really struggling right now. I'm curious if you guys know any horror stories or if you're going through any economic trouble yourself. It's definitely hard times these days, and we all have to make sure we're looking out for ourselves and ensuring we have a successful future.
Your car payment is keeping you broke. I don't know what the average car payment is these days, but it's got to be more than $500 a month. I bet you that you would feel like you got a raise. You got at least an additional $500 extra in your paycheck every single month. I know that not everyone is taught financial literacy. And so if you're watching this video and you got a car payment, this is me telling you, this is me wanting to help you and tell you that in no circumstance is it ever a good idea to have a car payment, and especially not that high. The type of car payment that we're seeing right now. A car is a depreciating asset, which means that it is losing its value every single day. Here's an analogy for you. You are basically putting money in your pocket and you don't realize that your pocket has a huge hole in it. So here's what I would do if I were in your shoes. I would make a plan to pay it off as soon as possible. I would give myself 2 years max. The 2-year mark comes and you are still not able to pay it off. That means you have way too much car. And that means that you need to sell it. I know you don't want to hear that, but you probably need to sell your car if you can't pay it off in the next 2 years because your car payment is keeping you broke.
100%. We've all made mistakes, but if you realize that the car you're paying off for the next 5 to 10 years isn't worth it anymore, cut your losses, downgrade to a cheaper car, and reduce those payments. Let me know what you think about the American car rental crisis. If you have any crazy stories you'd like to share, throw them down in the comment section below. See you down there.